Hey, so it's time to talk about the fallout from the Carmelo Anthony trial. As I'm sure you are aware, yesterday, uh, Carmelo Anthony was found guilty and he was sentenced to 35 years to life with the possibility of parole after about 17 years. and a lot of people are not happy about that. A lot of black folk are not happy about that. So let's talk about this. First of all, as I stated before, Carmelo Anthony did receive a fair trial. The only way he was going to receive a fair trial is with an all-white jury. Whites are the only people who do not care about race. They are the only people who do not support their own in cases where their own are guilty of something. The defense was clearly aiming for a mistrial. They were trying to get a mistrial, which is what it's what black folk do in cases like this. So to everyone saying that he did not receive a fair trial, you are wrong. He did receive a fair trial. It's just that the evidence was overwhelming that he murdered someone in cold blood and it was premeditated. But let's talk about the fallout of this trial. There will be riots. There have already been assaults happening, which is funny because in some cases, there was a man a journalist, who approached the Anthony family's tent. They were tented up outside the courthouse. He approached their tent, and he was open carrying. And they told him to leave, and they assaulted him and his cameraman. And they threatened to kill him. And he did not open fire on them. And the irony is completely lost on these people. They just aren't intelligent enough to understand what is happening. But they told him to leave, and he just left. He didn't kill them. They assaulted him. They actually physically assaulted him and threatened his life, and he did not kill them. And according to their own logic, he would be justified in killing them. All of them. For doing that. Of course, he knows better, and we know better. We know better. We know that that is not how that works. You don't just get to kill people because they throw a water bottle at you. Or because they put their hands on you. And in the case of Carmelo Anthony, apparently the witnesses said that he was touched so lightly that he didn't even move backwards. So Austin Metcalf didn't really push him that hard. He barely touched him. He probably just went, and just let the guy know that he was willing to go hands-on. And Carmelo Anthony, of course, murdered him for that. After having threatened to murder him for it. So there are people who are somehow convinced that this was a case of self-defense. It was not. It was never about self-defense. There are people saying that I saw someone on Twitter saying that stand your ground must apply. But stand your ground, first off, only applies on public property, and only if you are the one who is approached, not if you are the one doing the approaching. And also, it only applies if your life is in danger. And so, first off, Carmelo Anthony was the one who did the approaching, and he was the one who was threatening other people. And he was on private property where he was not supposed to be. So That does not apply here. Then there, I don't know how people convinced themselves that this was self-defense, but there's a lot of people saying this was self-defense. There was one black woman who was saying, "I don't know what to tell my kids anymore." Maybe tell them not to murder someone in cold blood. I mean, that seems like the obvious choice to me. But then again, I have an IQ above room temperature. um, then, of course, there was a man who was trying to sound unbiased, but he came off really, really biased. He said, no, there are no winners in this case. And I hope, and he said that I hope that the defense appeals the case and they cover things that they didn't cover, that they missed on the first run through. And it's like, yeah, no, there's nothing they missed. They brought their own witnesses, and their own witnesses testified against them because it's just that obvious that this was a case of cold-blooded murder, premeditated cold-blooded murder. And apparently there were 4 black people on the witness roster who all testified that Karmelo Anthony was guilty. Some of them even actively said, "I think Karmelo was in the wrong." So I saw a video of a black man holding a White Lives Matter sign, and he had his life threatened, and he was assaulted, and the police could have arrested the guy who assaulted him, but they were afraid of the crowd, which is really stupid because, these crowds, you really should just be able to spray fire into them and hit criminals. Remember Kyle Rittenhouse? That's what they told us. They told us that he just randomly fired into a crowd of leftists and he hit 3 pedophiles or whatever. And but yeah, with a black crowd, you're pretty much guaranteed to be hitting some criminals. So there will be riots, and I live in Baltimore, so I will probably be seeing a lot of the worst of it. It's expected. Hopefully it doesn't get too bad. But yeah, I wanted to also mention race war, because that is a topic that always comes up when this sort of thing happens. Someone was talking about whites are starting a race war, and this Karmelo Anthony thing is just the beginning of it. That's nonsense. And honestly, I don't think that race war is likely. If there is a race war, it will be started by black folk, and it will be fought halfway. Half of the people who fight on the side of the whites will be black. I'm just saying. It won't be a real race war. It's just going to be a civil war. Now, but I don't think that's likely. I don't think it's likely to happen. I think the worst that we'll get is some riots. That's about all. Thank you for watching. Peace.